Hey guys, and welcome back to Crash Landing. So, I've got a bunch of the stuff moved around down here. Worked on a live stream here to get this working, and this is just a variation on the pneumatic craft automatic seed machine that I had before. And this thing is pretty complex now. Here in this gold chest is the input. And we have endstone, dirt, and netherrack within this. And wow, that was one heck of a lag spike right there. But anyway, here in this we have our three types of solid soil that I've run across so far. And then within this you can see it's just a huge amount of commands. So the basic thing of what it does is it first comes through and figures out what type of seed we're using, and then figures, with these seeds, let's grab some dirt. With the ender plant, let's grab some endstone. With the fire flower, grab netherrack, put that block out, grab the seed, and put the seed on top of the ground. Then it's just a simple thing of determining there is a plant in front of us. Let's grab some bone meal, throw some bone meal at it, and then once the seeds reach the appropriate level, they are harvested and put back into this ME interface. So basically what I have done here, I have patterns here in this interface that allow me to auto-craft. That's part of the problem. NEI is really slowing things down. But I can auto-craft these seeds now. So if I come in here and look up my seeds, okay, you can see I've got quite a few of them already. I've got over 1,000 lightning, propulsion, and creeper plant seeds. I'm coming up on that on the rain plant. The squid plant, I'm going to have to set up another machine with water because I couldn't quite get this one to work with water. I could if I put another dispenser just for the water, but yeah. But then we've got some ender plant seed, fire flower seeds, and I have the slime plant. I have them going, but I haven't really done anything with them. But so let's say we want to do some fire flower seeds. So we center click on that and we'll say craft 10. And we hit begin, and all of a sudden this thing will lag me out. We get netherrack on the ground, the fire flower seeds are coming in, and it plants everything that it needs. So if we look in here, we can see the number of seeds that it has to go yet. It's got one more, and when it's done with this last one, the netherrack will just totally disappear. So if we take these rain plant seeds and just throw them in here, we'll see that it doesn't work because it doesn't have the appropriate NBT data or metadata, but we can take and just manually throw seeds in this chest as well. But yeah, today I want to get to working on the ore processing again. I have my sieving station set up here, and I've actually made it a double sieving station this time around. I've got 9 autonomous activators here doing my sieving. I've got sand and gravel being sieved on the bottom with 5, and then dust being sieved on the top with 4. And the ME system is automatically inputting and collecting the items from that. So if we come in here and take a look at what we've got for ores, yeah, we've got a lot of ores. We've got almost 1,000 of the iron ore dust, and I think that if I were to take the pulverized iron ore here, let's just see here, that actually puts us over 1,000 iron ore dust. And if we run this through a high furnace, that's actually going to give us 3,000 ingots, so that's pretty good. So what I would kind of like to do to avoid having all of those items in the ME system is get a deep tank set up. Now the deep tank, I don't know for sure how much it holds, but it did say that it can hold multiple liquids without mixing them. So what I'm thinking, the deep tank needs an odd number of blocks, so this wall will be perfect. And so what I want to do is put the deep tank into this space in this wall. And then I can take and put like a high oven here on the side, and there's enough room to get a full height high oven in here. And then I'd like to put a smeltery on the other side. And basically what I will do is have it to where the high oven will smelt all of the liquids and put them into the deep tank. Then I can output certain amounts of that liquid from the deep tank into the smeltery to mix them together and make my alloys. Or I can directly dump out of the deep tank into a casting basin and get the ingots. So I'm going to get to setting that up here. I've got awful lot of the scorched bricks. I know the first thing I need to probably do is get that high oven set up, because I may need more scorched bricks. I don't know. But one thing that I did read in the book is that the the high oven can make seared brick by putting cobblestone in it. So that would make making the scorched bricks a little easier. So, I don't know. I'll get this stuff set up, see what I need to do, and I will be back in just a bit. So I have the high oven and the deep tank set up here. Now this deep tank is 7 by 7 by 8 tall. From what I understand, the height, you're unlimited on the height. It's pretty much just your resources. But what I've got here is a fluid duct coming out of the side of the high oven, just going up to the top of the deep tank and dumping into it. Now I have 3 drains around the bottom of the deep tank, and I'll just probably put some levers or something here to control whether they're on or off. And on this one here, this is the one that's going to pump into the smeltery, which is going to get built here. So to do that one, first I'm going to have to pump into a tank. A small portable tank of some kind, so that we can meter out how much of the fluid we are getting into the smeltery for alloy mixing. But the next thing that I want to do here, I've got this channel dug into the ground. This is for automating this high oven. I've got some scorched ducts here on the side, and this is how you input items into the high oven. So I've set this one for the ore, and I've set this one for the fuel. The trouble is all of our charcoal, which is what I want to use for the fuel in this thing, is over in the other dome. But I still need to keep some of it in the other dome for the generators over there. So I want to have that be able to be automatically transferred over here. And to do that, of course, we need to make some tesseracts. So I've set up my magma crucible and fluid transposer here, and I've already smelted down a bunch of ender pearls into resonant ender. So let's go ahead and make the rest of it here. So we need some Enderium ingots, hardened glass, and some LX300 logic cards. So we'll make 2 of these frames. And as you can see, I'm almost out of Enderium. But then we take these and put them into here. It takes 1 bucket of resonant ender to fill each one of these frames, and that's going to give us the full frames. Now, once we get the full frames, we'll have to surround them with bronze and silver, and that will give us the tesseracts. So then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over to the other dome, and I suppose I'll probably just set up a factory manager to do this, because it's probably going to be the easiest thing to do. And I'll have it leave a certain amount of charcoal there and send the rest of it over here to the ME system. The other thing that I could do with setting in this tesseract would be to remove those survivalist generators and run 100% off of these ender generators, which I guess I didn't mention before. I made a second one. But yeah, we could do that. I'd kind of like to keep the charcoal power over there for now, and we could possibly change that in the future. It sure wouldn't be a problem. But I'm going to get this all set up here, and then we'll take a look at it after that. So this looks like it was pretty simple here. I hope that it's working anyway. So all that I'm doing here is I'm triggering this condition here. It's checking the barrel here to see if there's at least 999 charcoal in it. And if there is, whoops, then it will input from the barrel some charcoal. And that's weird. Why is there 2 of them here? Let's go back. I don't know. Okay, but we've got the charcoal here, and it should be moving that, and then it outputs it back to the Tesseract. So if we go over, it's kind of hard for me to tell here. It doesn't look like it's moving anything. But if we go back over to the Tech Dome, are we going to see charcoal moving in there? Oh, I know why. I didn't get the frequency set correctly there. So I'm pretty sure that if we get the frequency set correctly over here, we'll immediately see charcoal moving into the ME system. So all that I did is I took my precision import bus here that, well, it looks like I've got it set right. Yeah, configuration, receive items. Well, I may have to check this out just a little bit, because I doubt that we've got any charcoal in here. No, we don't. So let me look at this just a little bit more, and I'll be right back. So it didn't take me long at all to realize that I was making this a lot more difficult than it had to be. So what I've done is I've reduced this down to just one barrel here, and this holds 512 stacks of charcoal, which is a great deal plenty to keep these running for a very long time. This is 32,000 pieces of charcoal. So anything that will not fit into this barrel will go straight into the Tesseract. This Tesseract then will take the items over to the ME system. But the other thing is I set this pipe here to dense mode, which means that it will always try to find another place to put these, such as this barrel, before it will go to the Tesseract. So I'm just going to go ahead and cover this up here, and then we're going to just use a dolly to grab this barrel here, and we're just going to take it over to the other part of the base. And actually here, I'm going to put that in there so that I don't have the slowness effect. And as you can see, I did get most of the stuff removed here. I've still got a little bit of things here. It's kind of odd that drying rack doesn't show up through the glass. That's actually kind of interesting. Makes the wrench look like it's floating. It's an interesting little thing there. But also the pneumatic chamber is still there, the pressure chamber. And I need to get that moved, but I'm not going to worry about it just yet. But I did get all of the rest of the ship removed, as well as the smeltery and the high oven. So this is starting to look more like it should be. So now if we get over here, we can actually start working on the automation of putting things into this high oven. But right now, if we look in here, we should see some charcoal in here already. No, we don't have any yet. So I sure hope that this is going to work. I guess if it doesn't, I'll just have to figure it out later. And boy, that loading lag is just killing me. I don't know what is going on with that, but it is really annoying. So we're going to go ahead and just let that input into the system. And I'll probably start using this barrel for my sand when I go out to the Enderman farm to dig up dust. Because I've been using just single barrels, and this one's, what, 8 times as big? So I think I'd much rather use that. But, so now what we need to do here, I guess we should grab one piece of charcoal off of there, and I've got everything else. So we're going to go ahead and drop this back into our bag, if it'll go into the bag. Okay, so this interface here is connected to our system, so we can just take some ME cable, and we'll just run this out here, and this is going to be buried so that we don't have to worry about it. And then we'll come up out of the ground. And yeah, I lost all of that cobblestone, so if we look here for the cobble, there it is. Okay, and we can close all of this back up. And I screwed that up. So now we have 2 buses here. So the bottom one here is for our ingots or our ores, and the top one is for our fuel. So right here we have a basic export bus. We're going to put that for our fuel, and then we're going to go ahead and configure that to export charcoal. Now, the lower one, we are going to put in a precision export bus, and this gives more room. So now we're going to put in our iron, gold, silver, copper, tin, all of these. I think we won't be able to get them all. Aluminum, we definitely want in there. Lead, we haven't been using a lot of, but we'll use that too. Oh, I'm trying to figure out why I had a Tesseract in my inventory. Okay, so is that all of them? We have 7 of them here, and we've got 7 in there. So that's all that we've got at the moment. So now if we hook this up, we should see immediately this is filling with charcoal and with dust. So all that we need to do now is get in our tools and grab a lever. And this lever, when we turn this on, this thing will turn on. And there we go. So now this needs to get up to a little over 1500 degrees before it will actually melt iron. So we're going to let this go, and hopefully when it's melted some iron, we'll end up with molten iron in this deep tank. So I'll see you when we get to that point. So we're up to that 1500 degrees, and I see liquids in our deep tank. So let's just take a look here. We've got 18 ingots of molten iron in here. And yes, I got a little hot. I had one of those special zombies with like 200 and some health out here, and I tried to kill him, and my game lagged right when I went to hit him. And I caught on fire. Didn't die though, but yeah, I did catch on fire. So these are starting to melt, and I didn't realize the buffer that these had. This just has a huge buffer of items waiting to go into the system. But yeah, I also did get my extra guy moved down here. Now, I kind of goofed up on that. I broke the block underneath the shell constructor, and my guy disappeared. And the shell constructor, so I had to build a new one. Fortunately, I have the ender pearls now that I needed for that. So this is looks like it's going to work pretty good. So I don't know how much this thing is going to hold. That's the biggest thing. If 36 ingots fills that much of the tank, I think this will work just like the gauges on these, where as it gets more, it compresses down. At least I hope. Because otherwise, this is not a very efficient way to store these. But yeah, I'm going to let this smelt for a while, and we'll take a look at it here in a little bit. Well, I definitely didn't expect to see this, so this tank is almost completely full of molten iron. This thing has a total capacity of 700,000 millibuckets, and currently we have 616,896 millibuckets. And we're getting close to done on the iron, but that's just ridiculous. If we actually click on this, we can see that's over 4,300 ingots of iron. So I thought that we were going to be able to store a lot more in this thing, but that's just insane. At least it gives a buffer for the high oven. And I am going to have to try now to get, I think tin was the next thing running in here. Yeah, so tin will be running in here as soon as this gets done. But I need to get the nickel in here and get that going through here. And, well, that's going to be a bit of a... Oh, that's kind of stupid, actually. Let's spread that out there so that it kind of fills a little better. But I need to get a little bit of Invar made up with this molten iron. So I suppose what I might do is just keep this molten iron here and set up the smeltery here next to it and melt down a little of that, well, no, I don't want to waste the ferrous, but I could pump some of this molten iron in there. Oh, it's going to be a bit of a problem. It's not going to be to the nickel for a while. Oh, it goes... I don't even have nickel in here. So yeah, it won't get that nickel at all. So yeah, I may have to change a little bit here. So I'm going to work on this here, and I will be right back. So what I did here, guys, is I just took everything out of the high oven one stack at a time and put in the nickel in its place. Now, one thing that I may want to do here, after seeing that, is put one scorched duct at each level of this high oven so that we can input faster into this thing. The only thing with that is it will also have this huge reserve of items in it as well. So, I don't know, I'll just have to see what I come up with there. But, yeah, that's a lot of stuff. So we ended up with some gold and tin and a whole bunch of other stuff in here before I managed to get it all under control. But so if we move this around here, we've got 4,338 ingots of iron and currently 135 of nickel. So I have no real use for ferrous. Let's just take a look here. The ferrous ingots, I don't think they have a real use. Oh, wrong click. So I guess they're used for a fountain, a nickel hammer, nickel ingots. Yeah, that's about it. So yeah, about the only thing that these will be used for is Invar. So I suppose what I'll do now is get this smeltery set up so that I can blend these molten metals together, and we will go from there. Well, this is a little ugly over here at the moment, but I have this set up here to where I can pull out of the bottom of the deep tank into a portable tank, and basically I'll just go a number of times through this. The problem is this pipe doesn't exactly hold the correct amount, so what I may end up having to do is set up some additional spots here for ingot casting instead of full block casting. But we're going to start out here with the nickel. So we're going to pull the nickel to the bottom, and we are going to put in one tank of nickel to start out with. We'll turn that back off because that is full now. So now we will drain that into the smeltery, and we can see now we will have a fair amount of nickel in the smeltery. We've got 69 ingots plus 4 nuggets. So now we are going to change this to the iron, and we need twice as much iron as we had nickel. So, and I forgot to shut that off, and so I've screwed everything up already. So, what I probably should do is get this to where it's one or the other. Well, that wouldn't work either, but let's just see here. We're pretty close. We've got a little bit of nickel left in here. So I'm going to turn this one back off, turn this on for just a little bit, and we'll just see if we can get a little bit of this. Yeah, so, okay. So we'll turn this on for just a little bit. Looks like we're getting closer. How much nickel we've got? 7. And that should just about do it. It's hard to tell. So we got 2 ingots. It's amazing how fast that thing will move stuff. So we will go ahead and run with that. So I've got 3 drains over here, even though I shouldn't need that much. Once the pipe fills up, it should be able to run just as fast as it can. I'm going to go ahead and turn all of those on just because. So we'll let this run for just a little bit until all the Invar disappears out of here. And we'll see if we can kind of straighten this out a little bit. But so this will work, but it's not going to work quite as neat as I had hoped. But it will get us some metal blending, and we can possibly get our casting done a little bit faster too, because we've got the 2 drains here plus 3 drains over here. So I'm going to work on pouring this metal out of the tank so that we can continue smelting, and we'll go from there. Well guys, I've got the tank completely empty, and I don't know that I'm going to be keeping it. Because there's something wrong here. I don't know what is causing the problem. I've never had any loss of ingots through the fluid ducts, so I can't hardly think that it's the fluid ducts. The only thing that I've done differently this time around is having this deep tank. Now, if you remember, I had over 4,000 ingots of iron, and after I poured it all into blocks, I ended up with only 3 stacks plus 42 blocks of iron and a stack and a quarter of Invar. Now, I did the math backwards on this, and this is less than 3,000. I think it's only like about 2,500 blocks of iron, or ingots of iron. Then I had all of these that it was just, like I was 3.5 nuggets short on the copper. And I had to throw away tons of metal because there was stuff missing, and I don't know where it went or anything like that, but the only thing that I can attribute it to is this stupid tank. So I'm probably just going to take the tank back out and set up a large casting array, and I'll probably just set it up to where on the fluid ducts I have whitelisted fluids in each basin, so it'll only cast one material in each basin. That's probably what I'm going to do. Also, another thing that I didn't realize, I had been making all of my hoppers out of iron, and in this pack, you can make hoppers out of aluminum. So if we come over here, yeah, aluminum to make a hopper. So I've been wasting iron on that, but yeah, as long as I know that now. And that seems to be the only place that I can use aluminum in the place of iron. But the other thing is I did make a new chunk loader, and yeah, that takes an enchanting table to make that, so there's diamonds involved in that. And I have that set just to keep this dome loaded. I don't know that it ever goes unloaded, but I wanted to make sure that it was, because this is where I have my ME system, and it's where I have my extra guy. So this dome definitely needs to stay loaded. But yeah, so I still need to get some type of a system set up here to automatically keep ender pearls pumped into these generators. And I suppose the easiest way to do that is going to be to figure out some way to read the amount of energy in my storage cells, and when it drops below a certain point, have it inject an ender pearl into each generator. The problem with that is that these generators, you can just keep pumping stuff into them. So it's going to take kind of a complicated system to figure out how to keep that running properly. But anyway, I know we are starting to run a little short on time, and really I don't have much else planned for today. So I guess we're just going to have to say that's good. So if you guys enjoyed the episode, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!